And we are here at UC Riverside.
Hello, this is Dr. Jeff, and I'm with my amazing Korean American Studies class.
Hello everyone, my name is Claire and I'm a part of Dr. Jeff Kim's Korean American Ethnic Studies class.
And today we are off to Riverside because there's something really amazing happening. Our first ever field trip to the Dosan Anchangho Memorial.
And I'm so thankful for this opportunity to head out to Riverside and be able to learn more about Korean American history.
But since we're out there anyway, we're going to have 3 different locations that we're going to stop at. The first will be UC Riverside to the Colonel Young Kim Korean American Studies Center, where we will meet with Dr. Ed Chang, the author of Korean Americans: A Concise History.
Because as a Korean American myself, I wasn't sure what to expect when I first entered this class, but now that I have this opportunity to go out and expand my knowledge about my Korean American history, I'm so thankful to be able to enrich my culture and my understanding of my identity.
The second place we'll be going is we've been invited by the Dosan Anchangho Foundation. They have provided a special scholarship for our class to take a bus to go out there and have the opportunity to hear and see and experience the Peace Walk. And along this Peace Walk includes a statue of Dosan Anchangho along with a little bit of his story. You'll have a chance to hear the story, but what's really powerful about this is in the city of Riverside, there's must be thousands of people crossing by this place. And if you were to ask somebody, could you name a Korean American that made a difference in the United States? I bet most, even Korean Americans, might even struggle with that. But in Riverside, they're passing by the statue every day. And now the third place that we're going to be going, and I realized it was very close to this location, so we were able to get a connection with the Civil Rights Institute. And at the Civil Rights Institute is something called the Heroes, I think it's like the Local Heroes Museum. And so we're going to have a chance to see many, many different local heroes, see their stories in Riverside. But this gives me ideas for our class, like what could it look like to archive and gather the stories of our local heroes also here in the Anaheim Union High School District.
We are here at UCR campus.
Wow, University of California, Riverside, what do you think of the campus?
I think it's a very beautiful campus based off first impressions.
There's Dr. Ed Chang over there waiting for us.
And we do a lot of research on Korean American community. We publish several books here displayed, and we have donors who support our research center.
Claire, does this book look familiar to you?
Yeah.
This is the book that we've been using for our Korean American Studies class.
Yeah, that's my latest book, and this is a translation of Korean book of late Colonel Young Kim. The reason why I named this center after Colonel Young Kim is that he is not only a war hero, but also more importantly, he is a humanitarian who championed the civil rights of underdogs such as racial minorities, particularly Korean American, Japanese American women, the battered women. So he's one of the few person that I know of that really stood out and fought for the rights of underprivileged population. So I wanted to carry on his legacy to the next generation like you guys. So that's the reason why I named Young Kim Center.
What was happening during this time for yourself when you were a young man? It was many years ago, over 30 years ago.
Yeah,
You had just graduated with your PhD.
right, and I just graduated. My doctoral dissertation was on Korean Black conflicts in Los Angeles. That was 2 years before LA riots erupted. So, and this Korea Times focuses on LA riots, and this is a peace rally initiated by second generation Korean American. Instead of calling for conflict, they really, a few days later, they call for solidarity and peace, which is one of the largest gathering of Asian American protest movement in history.
Now, I've heard you share that the Saigu 429, the LA riots over 30 years ago, was a watershed moment in Korean American identity formation. What do you mean by that?
Well, it was a wake-up call. It was truly a turning point and watershed event because Korean America really didn't exist at the time. Majority of Korean immigrants at the time have been living in the United States 15, 20 years. They are recent immigrants, and they really didn't have any Korean American consciousness or identity. They had a strong Korean identity as a Korean national. But when violence erupted and Korean community suffered, huge, losses, no one cared. And Korean America was invisible, voiceless, no representation. So Korean immigrants came to realization that we need to take ownership and demand rights as well as responsibilities as a Korean American. So Korean America emerged as a new consciousness, a new identity, and they have been working so hard over the last 30 years to get voice, to visibility, to recognition, representation.
What do you think Korean Americans need to be thinking about today in 2025?
Well, I'm a strong advocate of Korean American identity, Korean Americanness. To gain Korean American identity, you have to have a Korean American historical consciousness, historical understanding. So that's one of the reasons why a class like yours is so important for the next generation. It should start in high school, K-12 education. Once you develop this firm ground, you can stand tall and be proud and participate in community affairs and develop community consciousness. So I think togetherness, we are stronger as together, and that can only develop through Korean American historical learning, such as your class.
Definitely, this class has been so powerful in bringing about the identity of Korean Americans and all Americans. And I wouldn't have created this course had I not read the book, Korean Americans, A Concise History. I didn't know enough about my own story. But after I read that book, I thought maybe we could have a course, and that began the journey for that. We have a student here with us, Claire, who has taken the Korean American Studies course this year. We have the author of Korean Americans, A Concise History. Claire, what has been your experience as a student in this course and learning about Korean American history?
So, as a Korean American myself, I was very unsure about my own history and where my culture was, in terms of my identity and how it related to me. But after taking this course, I feel a lot more enriched in the knowledge and understanding of how Korean American history has developed and how that has formed to the society that is today, and how that has helped me shape myself as the person and leader that I am.
I know you've read the book, Korean Americans, A Concise History. The author right here, Dr. Ed Chang, is there anything you want to say to him?
I just really appreciate that you wrote the book, and it's just been such a life-changing course, especially for me, because I was very lost, and after I read this book, it gave me a better insight and understanding of my own culture.
What are some things that you've done in response to knowing your own story that you've been a leader of in our Korean American Studies class?
Yeah, so as a member of the KAS core, which is the leadership course, I've definitely used that, especially with our Invent to Prevent with our Homeland project. So we advocated for Korean American peace in the way that we respond to the violence by setting up campaigns and being able to set up a proposal and set up a project where we would be able to spread awareness about the Korean American community and be able to advocate for peace and collaboration and unity. So our Tell Us Your Story campaign was where students would be able to come out and share their own individual stories, no matter if they were Korean American, Hispanic, Latino, just people from various backgrounds would be able to come share their story, and they would be surrounded by an environment where it was a safe space for everyone to share their own story, where they feel comfortable sharing and be able to listen to different people's stories and be able to grow their own identities.
Dr. Ed Chang, you paved the way for your generation and also the next because of the foundation that you laid. We really appreciate you so much.
And we just met Dr. Edward Chang, and it's been really insightful in the way he's taught how his story came to be. And this is my first time on a UC campus, and it's been amazing, and it's such a big campus, and I could potentially see myself here in the future. So overall, my experience has been so great so far, and we are going off to, I think, the Dosan Anchangho Memorial, and I can't wait for that too.
There we're going to meet with Jonathan Park with the Dosan Anchangho Memorial Foundation. Today we're here with Jonathan Park with the Dosan Anchangho Memorial Foundation. We are here at that location, and we're going to hear a little bit about the story of how this important place came to be. Dosan Anchang Memorial statue right here on the Peace Walk with many other greats in the history of the world. How did this come to be?
Dr. Hong, he passed away a couple years or 3 years ago actually. He donated a huge sum of money to build this memorial statue. And the city was generous enough to give us this space. So we have Martin Luther King and Gandhi and Mother Teresa. So there's a good amount of the civil activities.
So as a Korean American, it's been an honor to be able to come to the Dosan Anchangho Memorial and be able to learn more about a significant figure, especially in the Korean American history. And my first impressions was I wasn't really sure about who this person is and what their impact was, but after learning more about Dosan Anchangho throughout this course, and especially coming to this memorial, I became more understanding and more knowledgeable about how he impacted the Korean American community and advocated for a lot of individuals.
I just want to give a big thank you to the Dosan Anchangho Memorial Foundation. This is a place to remember. We want to know about Korean Americans who made a difference for the United States. Oftentimes, if you were to ask the question, could you name a Korean American that made a difference, they would struggle, and many would struggle, and many Americans would struggle. But all across the world, and definitely here in Riverside, this is a downtown, beautiful downtown area, we have a place where we can know the story of a Korean American story that's a great America story, who built a community, who had people come together working hard for the United States. He went on, when he returned to different parts of the world, made a difference for the democracy also of South Korea as well. So what a great and powerful story. And this is the Dosan Anchangho Memorial, but along the line are some other greats, including Mahatma Gandhi, Cesar Chavez, and so many other stories that we want to remember, because this is what reminds us that the American story, the Korean American story, is a great story to know indeed.
Our doors in 2023. So that's relatively recent. We're sort of a new kids on the block, but we've made so much headway and community in the meantime. And Homegrown Heroes is really a showcase.
It's like the digital story right here. And then, oh, what is this?
So right now we have our media set up for oral history filming. So we've been doing, for upcoming exhibitions, we've been doing a lot of oral history. So we're lucky to have some in-house equipment. We have folks sit down, chat, share their stories, and then it's nice and soundproof so that we can keep things quiet. And then that's all going to be going into our archive and then hopefully be used in future exhibits. So it's all part of the work that we do. You can see the exhibit here. We're going to be making exhibits in this room. So it all sort of is part of that ecosystem that we want to create to uplift sort of the historical and then ongoing civil rights actions in our region. So this is our neighborhood of disability. So we have folks here who are deaf, we have folks with no or low vision, and folks that are just really involved in all areas of the disability civil rights movement. Involved in language, native language learning and preservation, and so we were happy to interview them. But also, I love talking about Rosa Marta because I'm
here at the Civil Rights Institute. I can tell you that I've learned a lot here about the approach of storytelling.
So I'm very thankful that I got the experience to go to this expedition museum and be able to get a tour from Dr. Audrey Myers.
One thing that I saw at this museum was the way oral history was captured. So the entire museum itself was of local homegrown heroes, different influential people here in Riverside. They had an entire kind of like, I guess, wall of information about them, biography, but what stood out were photographs, signatures, pictures, quotations. And then the curator here, Dr. Audrey, she did a wonderful job just telling these stories one by one. And I was able to get to know the story of the community through her sharing and her telling of it. And it made me think about our own Korean American Studies class or other classes where we can create spaces where there is a museum, maybe of our local homegrown heroes ourselves in our own families, where stories are told by the docents who would be the students of our district. So very excited to see the potential of this concept, this idea in Anaheim Union High School District, where stories are known and told in spaces like what we saw today.
I was able to see the local heroes of Riverside, and I found that really unique because most museums don't focus on individual stories and individual history.
Supported by bus driver Rocio in the Anaheim Union High School District,